Welcome back to the Millionaire Mindset podcast. This is episode 2. Today, we're talking about what separates people who stay average from people who completely change their lives. This episode is for anyone who feels stuck, for anyone who knows they're meant for more, for anyone who's tired of excuses, tired of waiting, and tired of settling. Because the truth is simple. You can't build a different life with the same mindset. You can't become successful while staying comfortable. You can't expect change if you refuse to change. Today, we're talking about discipline ownership, mental toughness, and what it really takes to go to the next level, because greatness isn't random, it's built. And if you're listening right now, I need you to understand something. You still have time, you still have purpose, you still have another level inside you. This episode is about waking that version of yourself up. Average people complain. Winners adjust. Average people focus on everything going wrong. Winners focus on what needs to happen next. The biggest difference between people who succeed and people who stay stuck isn't talent. It's mindset. The way you think determines the way you live. The strongest people understand urgency. They understand time is moving, whether they're ready or not. Every day matters, every decision matters, and eventually life forces results. You either moved forward or you stayed behind. There is no middle ground. Life doesn't reward excuses. Life rewards action. Too many people spend years talking about what they wish they had. But winners spend time creating what they want. Your conversations matter. What do you talk about most? Problems or possibilities, complaints or solutions? Because your mindset shows up in your language. People who grow spend less time blaming life and more time building it. One of the biggest reasons people stay lost is because they never decide what they truly want. They wake up, go through routines, repeat habits, and live without direction. You can't expect a different future if you don't know where you're trying to go. You need clarity, you need vision, you need purpose. So ask yourself, what do you want financially? What do you want physically? What do you want emotionally? What do you want for your family? What kind of life are you trying to build? Because if you don't define success, you'll settle for survival. And survival isn't enough. You need something strong enough to pull you out of bed, something bigger than comfort, something bigger than motivation, a real reason. A reason that keeps you moving when you're tired, a reason that keeps you focused when distractions show up. Once you know exactly what you want, everything changes. You stop wasting time. You stop chasing things that don't matter. You stop drifting. You move with intention. This is the hard truth most people avoid. At some point, you have to stop blaming your past. You have to stop giving your history control over your future. Yes, life may have been unfair. You may not have had support. You may have started behind. You may have been doubted. But none of that changes what happens next, because the moment you keep blaming others, you give away your power. Ownership changes everything. When you take ownership, you stop waiting for permission, you stop expecting rescue, you stop depending on luck, you become responsible for your own future, your habits, your mindset, your choices, your discipline. That's where growth begins. The strongest words you can say are, I'm responsible, because responsibility gives you control. Victim mentality keeps people stuck. Ownership pushes people forward. You may not control how life started, but you control how it continues. People love motivation, but motivation fades. Discipline stays. Discipline is doing what needs to be done when you don't feel like doing it. Discipline is showing up when nobody sees you. Discipline is building habits that work even when emotions don't. Success is not built in public. Success is built in private. It's built in early mornings, late nights, hard choices, quiet sacrifices. Most people want the spotlight. But they don't want the process. They want results without repetition. But repetition creates mastery. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your habits. The work you do when nobody is watching becomes the reason you win when everyone is watching. Your private discipline becomes your public success. That's why you have to build standards. Standards protect your future. Standards make decisions easier. Standards remove excuses, and once you stop negotiating with yourself, your life changes. Effort matters, but execution matters more. The world doesn't reward good intentions. The world rewards results. You can talk about your dream all day, but eventually you have to produce, you have to finish, you have to follow through. Too many people start strong, but few people stay consistent. The strongest people aren't always the most talented. They're the most committed. They keep going when they're tired. They keep pushing when they feel like quitting. They understand something important. Real growth happens when you feel like stopping. That's where separation happens. That's where the next level begins. Anybody can work hard when they feel motivated, but can you stay locked in when it gets difficult? Can you stay focused when nobody supports you? Can you keep building when results take longer than expected? That's where winners are made. At some point, success stops being about you. It becomes about the people connected to you, your family, your future, your legacy. Your why matters. And if your why is weak, you'll quit when life gets hard. But when your reason becomes bigger than comfort, quitting becomes harder. You stop thinking short-term. You stop living for temporary pleasure. You start building something that lasts. You start thinking differently. You stop wasting energy. You stop wasting years. You start becoming intentional, because one day people will remember how you lived. They will remember whether you gave up or kept going. They will remember whether you settled or fought. The goal is not just to survive life. The goal is to leave impact. If you're listening to this right now, understand something. You are still in the game. As long as you're breathing, you still have a chance. You can still change your story. You can still rebuild your life. You can still become stronger. You can still go further, but it starts with a decision. A decision to stop settling. A decision to stop making excuses. A decision to stop waiting for perfect timing. You don't need permission. You need commitment. You need discipline. You need standards. You need a reason that's bigger than comfort. And once you decide that average is no longer an option, your life starts changing. This is your moment. This is your wake-up call. This is your next level. Thank you for listening to the Millionaire Mindset podcast. If this episode spoke to you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, you were not built to stay average. You were built to dominate.